Let me tell you something that most people don't want to hear, but every winner lives by. Nobody is coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not the system, not luck, not someday. At some point, you've got to look in the mirror and say, if it's going to be, it's up to me. See, losers have a story for everything. They've got a reason, an explanation, a list of circumstances lined up like evidence in a courtroom. I didn't grow up with money. I didn't have support. Nobody taught me. The opportunity never came. And while they're busy explaining, winners are busy executing. Responsibility is heavy. It's uncomfortable because the moment you take it, you lose your excuses. You can't blame your past anymore. You can't blame your boss, your parents, your neighborhood, your bad luck. When you own it, you own all of it, your results, your habits, your discipline, your lack of progress, everything. And most people don't want that weight because it means if your life doesn't change, it's on you. But listen to me, that weight is not punishment, it's power. The day you stop blaming is the day you stop being stuck. Winners don't waste energy asking, why did this happen to me? They ask, what am I going to do about it? Because life is not fair, and it never promised to be. Some people start ahead, some start behind, some start in the middle. But where you start is not where you have to finish. The only way to move forward is to grab the steering wheel. If you keep handing it to your circumstances, don't be surprised when your life keeps crashing into the same walls. I've seen people with every disadvantage you can imagine rise to the top, and I've seen people with every advantage waste it all. The difference wasn't talent, it wasn't luck, it was ownership. Winners wake up and say, today is mine, even when they're tired, even when they're discouraged, even when yesterday didn't go their way. They don't negotiate with reality, they attack it. They adjust, they learn, they grow, but they never surrender control of their future. And let me be real with you, taking responsibility doesn't feel good at first. It feels like pressure on your chest. It feels like standing alone. It feels like no safety net. But that's exactly why it works. Because once you realize nobody owes you anything, you become dangerous. You stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop waiting for applause. You move, you build, you fight. Losers say, I'll try. Winners say, I will. Losers say, if things change. Winners say, I'll change things. One mindset keeps you powerless. The other puts you in command. And command doesn't mean you control everything that happens. It means you control your response to everything that happens. Storms will come, people will doubt you, doors will close, plans will fail, but when you own your life, none of those things get the final word. You want to separate yourself. Stop outsourcing your future. Stop handing your dreams to chance. Stop giving your power to excuses that don't produce results. The world doesn't reward the best story, it rewards the strongest action, and action starts with ownership, raw, uncomfortable, undeniable ownership. So tonight, tomorrow morning, whenever you walk past a mirror, don't look away. Look yourself dead in the eyes and ask one question: am I in charge of my life, or am I just reacting to it? Because the moment you decide it's on you, truly on you, that's the moment everything can change, no excuses. Just results. Let me tell you where the real separation happens, because it's not on the stage, it's not when the lights are on, and it's not when everybody's watching. The real separation happens in the dark, on the days you don't feel like getting up, on the mornings when your body is heavy and your mind is full of doubt. Anybody can go hard when they're motivated. Anybody can post quotes, make plans, talk big when the energy is high. But winners don't run on feelings, they run on commitment. And commitment doesn't ask you how you feel today. See, losers are emotional. If they feel good, they work. If they feel tired, they rest. If they feel discouraged, they stop. Their effort rises and falls like the weather, but winners build systems that don't care about mood. They show up sick, they show up tired, they show up broke, they show up heartbroken. Not because it's fun, because it's necessary. Because they understand something most people never accept. Success is built on the days you wanted to quit but didn't. You don't get stronger by doing what's easy. Easy doesn't grow you. Easy maintains you. Easy keeps you exactly where you are. That extra hour of sleep is easy. Skipping the workout is easy. Putting off the work until tomorrow is easy. But easy has a price: stagnation. Hard has a price too: discomfort, sacrifice, discipline. The difference is hard pays you back with growth. I've watched people pray for a different life but refuse to do different work. They want confidence without preparation, results without repetition, victory without struggle. But champions don't negotiate with the grind. They understand that the work you avoid today becomes the weakness that exposes you tomorrow. So they lean into it. They attack the task nobody else wants. They stay one more hour, do one more rep, read one more page, make one more call. Not because someone told them to, because they told themselves they would. And here's the truth most people don't want: you will not always be inspired. Motivation is temporary. It's like a spark, bright, exciting, but it fades. Discipline is the engine. Discipline is what keeps you moving when the spark is gone. It's waking up at the same time every day, whether you slept well or not. It's keeping promises to yourself when nobody else would know if you broke them. It's choosing long-term respect over short-term comfort. Winners don't wait to feel ready. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll wait your whole life. They move while uncertain. They move while afraid. They move while exhausted. Because action creates momentum, and momentum creates belief. Every time you show up when you didn't want to, you send a message to your mind: I am not controlled by comfort. And that message builds something inside you that no one can give and no one can take away: inner authority. Meanwhile, the world is full of talented people stuck at average because they only perform when conditions are perfect. But perfect conditions never last. There will always be noise, pressure, setbacks, distractions. Winners train in chaos so they can perform in it. They don't need silence to focus or applause to continue. Their drive comes from something deeper than mood. It comes from identity. They don't just want to win. They see themselves as the kind of person who does what must be done. So when the alarm rings and everything in you says stay down, that's the test. When the work gets boring, that's the test. When nobody notices your effort, that's the test. Not of your talent, not of your intelligence, of your discipline. Because discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you said you want to be. If it were easy, everyone around you would be successful. The fact that it's hard is not a barrier. It's the filter. It removes the casual, the comfortable, the half committed. What remains are the ones willing to suffer for something greater than their feelings. So don't ask yourself if you feel like it. Ask yourself if it needs to be done, and then do it anyway. Let me be honest with you. Everybody wants to grow, but nobody wants to hurt. Everybody wants the transformation, the success, the breakthrough, but they don't want the process that produces it. They want the crown without the cross, the reward without the resistance, the victory without the battle. But pain is not the enemy of progress. Pain is the path to it. If you're trying to avoid discomfort, you're accidentally avoiding the very thing that can change your life. See, losers interpret pain as a stop sign. The moment it gets hard, the moment it gets uncomfortable, the moment their pride gets bruised or their body gets tired, they back off. They retreat to safety. They tell themselves, maybe this isn't for me. But winners read pain differently. They see it as confirmation. Confirmation that they are stretching, growing, stepping beyond the limits of who they used to be. You don't feel pain doing what you've already mastered. Pain shows up when you're expanding. Think about it. Muscles don't grow during comfort. They grow when they're torn, stressed, pushed past their normal capacity. The same is true for your mind, your discipline, your character. Rejection hurts, failure hurts, sacrifice hurts, being misunderstood hurts. But every one of those experiences is building something inside you that comfort never could. Strength is forged under pressure, not in ease. And let's be real, growth, pain, and regret pain are both going to exist in your life. One comes from pushing yourself beyond your limits. The other comes from knowing you could have been more, but chose not to try. Winners choose the first kind because it's temporary and purposeful. Losers choose the second because it feels easier now but lingers forever. One pain makes you stronger, the other makes you bitter. I've seen people quit right before the breakthrough because the discomfort convinced them they were failing. They didn't realize they were actually closer than ever. The night is always darkest before the sunrise, but if you walk away in the dark, you never see the light. Winners endure that darkness. They sit in it, work in it, sweat in it, cry in it if they have to, but they don't abandon the mission. Pain also strips away illusions. It reveals what you're really made of. When everything is smooth, everybody looks confident. Everybody talks big, but when pressure hits, when plans collapse, when exhaustion sets in, that's when character speaks. Winners don't pretend it doesn't hurt. They feel it fully. They just refuse to let it decide their direction. They don't ask, why is this happening to me? They ask, what is this preparing me for? Because every challenge carries a lesson. Every setback carries information. Every struggle carries an upgrade. The people who rise aren't the ones who never suffer. They're the ones who learn while they suffer. They adapt, they refine, they come back sharper, tougher, wiser. Pain becomes their teacher instead of their jailer. And here's something powerful. The more discomfort you survive, the less power it has over you. What once felt unbearable becomes manageable. What once scared you becomes routine. You build resilience, and resilience is like armor for your future. Life doesn't stop throwing punches, but they stop knocking you down. Meanwhile, the world is full of people stuck in comfort zones that feel safe but slowly shrink their potential. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it quietly erodes confidence because deep down you know you're not challenging yourself. Growth hurts, yes, but it also expands you. It shows you what you're capable of. It turns doubt into evidence. So when the process starts to burn, when the sacrifice feels heavy, when the struggle feels unfair, don't run from it. Lean into it. Remind yourself that this discomfort is not here to destroy you, it's here to develop you. The very thing you're trying to escape might be the thing that's about to elevate you. Pain is not the price you pay for success. Pain is the price that proves you're on your way. Now let me take you to the place where most dreams go to die, not at the beginning, not in the struggle, but in the middle. That quiet space where the excitement is gone, the applause has faded, and the results aren't showing up as fast as you hoped. See, starting is sexy. Starting feels powerful. You've got energy, vision, momentum, people cheering you on. But commitment is revealed after the honeymoon phase ends, when it's no longer new, when it's repetitive, when it feels like you're giving everything and getting nothing back. That's where winners and losers separate for real. Losers are addicted to excitement. They chase the feeling of a fresh start, but they don't stay long enough to see a finish. As soon as it gets boring, as soon as progress slows down, as soon as obstacles stack up, they convince themselves it's a sign to quit or switch paths. They say, maybe this isn't for me. But winners understand something deeper. Boredom is not a warning sign, it's part of mastery. Repetition is not punishment, it's the process. You don't become excellent by doing something once with passion. You become excellent by doing it thousands of times with discipline. Commitment means you stay when it's no longer exciting. You stay when nobody is watching. You stay when your friends don't understand. You stay when the scoreboard doesn't reflect the effort you're putting in. Because winners don't measure progress by applause. They measure it by alignment with their vision. They know seeds don't grow the day you plant them. There's a season underground where nothing looks like it's happening, but everything is happening. And that invisible season is dangerous because doubt gets loud there. Your mind starts negotiating. What if this doesn't work? What if I'm wasting my time? What if I'm not good enough? That internal voice is what takes most people out, not the difficulty of the work. Winners don't silence the voice, they outwork it. They show up again and again and again until results have no choice but to appear. Let me tell you something powerful. Commitment is a decision you make daily. It's not something you choose once and forget. Every morning, every setback, every delay is an invitation to either recommit or retreat. Losers retreat quietly. Winners recommit loudly through action. They tighten their focus. They refine their approach. But they don't abandon the mission. You've got to fall in love with the long game, not the quick win, not the overnight success story, but the slow, steady climb that builds something unshakable. Because anything that rises fast can collapse just as fast. But when you've stayed through years of discipline, sacrifice, and unseen work, you develop roots. And roots don't care about storms. Roots hold. There will be days you question everything. Days you wonder if the sacrifice is worth it. Days you feel invisible, replaceable, stuck. That's normal. What's not normal is quitting every time those feelings show up. Feelings are temporary. Your purpose is not. Winners anchor themselves to something bigger than emotion, a vision, a calling, a responsibility, a standard they refuse to lower. And understand this. The world rewards finishers, not starters. Plenty of people begin with talent. Plenty begin with resources. Plenty begin with confidence. But very few endure. Very few stay consistent long enough to turn potential into reality. That's why commitment is such a rare advantage, because most people don't have the patience to let it compound. When you stay committed, you gain something more valuable than success itself. You gain identity. You become the person who doesn't quit. The person who can be trusted with big dreams because you've proven you won't abandon them when it gets hard. And once you build that reputation with yourself, confidence stops being hype and starts being history. You don't believe you can succeed because someone encouraged you. You believe it because you've survived too much to doubt it. So when the excitement fades, when the progress is slow, when nobody is clapping and nothing feels glamorous, don't panic. Don't pivot out of impatience. Don't confuse quiet progress with failure. Stay locked in. Stay consistent. Stay committed long enough for your efforts to compound into something undeniable. Because winners aren't the ones who start the strongest. They're the ones who refuse to stop.